Hi, everybody. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 144. Welcome to today's show. We're going to have an interesting discussion today. We're going to be talking about Passaggio Example. And we're going to talk in terms of singing exercises and songs illustrating the Passaggio. So, question of the day is, what's another word or term for the Passaggio? What's another word or term for the Passaggio? If you know that answer, tell me in the question or in the comments below. It's another word for, just give me the name of the other term for Passaggio, the Passaggio. All right, so let me see here. What am I doing here? I think I'll turn this off because you guys all know who I am, right? So I'm Chuck, and I'm happy to have you here today. So now, so I was in. We're going to talk today specifically. Let me just tell you what this is going to be all about today. We're going to talk about, as a singer, if you know about the Passaggio and can sing in and through it, you will substantially increase your range, potentially, eliminate straining, cracking, breaking, flipping into falsetto, and the like, connect your chest voice to your head voice, and you'll be able to sing higher and better than you ever imagined. Now, to begin this today, I had a question here from James. James said, here's the question. Hi, I was wanting to know how to use the chest voice all the way up to head voice without going into falsetto. One connected strong voice. And the second question that James had was, are there exercises to accomplish this? My response is yes. That's a perfect question for today's discussion. And James, you are going to get the answer to those two questions today. So let me say hi to James. Great to have you here. Shadi, nice to have you here. Philip, welcome to the show today. And Philip, right on. He said bridge. That's right. The other term for Passaggio, anybody? The bridge. So, question number 2. Do you know how to bridge? Or do you know how to sing in and through the Passaggio? Let me know in the comment section below. Yep, I've got that nailed. No worries. So I'll tell a story. I was in a meeting with Mr. Seth Riggs, and he talked about this conference that he did. And they had a room full of singers, and he was putting on a workshop, which he's done a lot through his nearly 88 years now of teaching. Well, not of teaching 88 years, but 60 years probably of teaching for sure. And so he asked, what's the number one challenge and question you face? The number one problem you face as a singer? And he had a chalkboard and started listing the comments that people were giving to him. One person raised their hand. They said, well, I have a trouble going up high. Like my voice cracks as I sing the higher notes. Okay, what else? Other questions. Yep, I get, when I start singing up into my upper voice, my head voice, it gets really strained. It's real tight, and I get hoarse after singing for a while. So he's writing that on the board. And answer after answer kept referring back to this area of the voice that everybody was worried about. And then he had one person say, I get really nervous. And he thought, great, here's one comment so far that was not related to this particular area of the voice, which is the Passaggio. The singer said, I get nervous and I just like break into sweats as the closer I get to that area of my voice where I'm worried it's going to crack. So it ended up being that every single person that was concerned about their number one concern was this area of the voice that wants to crack, wants to break, wants to get strained. It's higher in the voice. It's the transition from the low to the high voice. It's all the same, and it's all about the passaggio. All right, so let me say hello, and then we're gonna jump right into this. Okay. I want to get to this information because for those of you who are joining us after the publication of this video, I don't want you to have to wait around for this information. So we're going to talk, I'm going to give you 3 specific things. Number 1, I'm going to show you where the passaggio is. I've got a piano keyboard here. I'm going to take the camera off my computer and I'm going to show you on the keyboard where it is. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 exercises that you can use to begin to establish your ability to sing from low voice to high voice, to sing in this passaggio. And number 3, I'm going to illustrate it by using a song. If we don't get turned off by the powers that be, the internet, the interweb power that is watching and listening to everything I say. Actually, I'm going to use a song that should be in the public domain, I believe is in the public domain, and so I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. All right, so what is the passaggio? It's a passageway, and the passageway it's the passage from the low voice, that's your chest voice, to your head voice, the higher notes. And it is essentially, I believe, really what the study of singing has always been about. How do I go from low to high and do it really well, and then back down again? And so it's dealing with this thing that the Italian word is passaggio. And I don't know the exact interpretation. If anyone's here today from Italy, I would love to know if you could give me the exact translation of the word passaggio. But as it applies to singing, I think it's essentially a passageway. So it's a passageway from chest voice, the low notes, to head voice, the high notes. And it is essentially what everyone is concerned about, and the study, and those who are really excellent in terms of understanding and being able to sing in and through the bridge are the better singers. And of course, you want to be a better singer. So like just today, when James asked this question, are there exercises and so forth that I can use to go from low to high? James says, I've tried using the high kind of voice like you use toward children, as not to frighten them, to go from chest to head without breaking into falsetto with limited success. All right, so I'll give you a couple exercises here. Martin Stevens says, trouble is making sounds in head voice isn't really singing in head voice. Exactly. And it's usually actually easier in head voice than it is in the passaggio. So that brings up the question, where is the passaggio? Isn't it in head voice? Nope, it's not in head voice. The first bridge, the first passaggio, is not in head voice. The first passaggio is just adjacent to the top of your chest voice. And I'll show you where that is for the guys and where it is for the girls. Martin continues to say, singing there, making it nice in the area we need to discuss. Okay, Thiago says, Chuck, 6 months doing vocal lessons and I can't sing the G4. Does that mean something? Yes, Thiago, it means you're 19. And it's a very, very challenging thing for the teenage. Also, I know you and I have had 1 lesson. You might have to take 5 lessons, maybe. So you may have to do more in private study. Karma Official says, "Sir, your videos are awesome." Thanks, Karma. I appreciate that. I don't know what this is. There's something about showing it or hiding it. Let me just press show and subscribe and watch my vocal range. I guess if somebody wants to do that, they can. Take an ENT. Can you sing something in your second Passaggio and utilize your C5 in mixed Chesty voice? I don't do a mixed Chesty voice. I just do head voice. At that range, the C5 would just be head voice. Let's see if I can get to that today. Let's see if I can do it. I'm a little scratchy. I had a cold last week, but all right. Number one, where's the Passaggio? So I'm going to grab my camera. I'm going to lift it up off my computer, and I'm going to point it down here at the piano. Now, for those of you who know the keyboard, this is middle C. Let me see if I can get into the middle of this a little bit better. Okay, so here's middle C. So let's talk about first of all, the Passaggio for the men begins typically for the tenors and basses right here. The C, the E, F sharp. This is where the first bridge in your voice occurs. And we all start feeling it before that. So we feel it on the approach to the bridge. But when you get here to the E, boy, you really know you're there, and it's a challenge. Now, for the true basso, the real deep voice, your bridge would be down here. This is middle C again. It would be A, B flat, B, and C. C sharp, you're all the way through. So for the basses, for the tenors and baritones, by the time you hit the G, you're through it. Ladies, where is your first bridge? Here's middle C again. Your first bridge is here. This is the sopranos, the mezzos, and many of the altos. A4, B flat, B, and C. By the time you hit C sharp 5, the C sharp 5, you're pretty much all the way through that bridge. So, A, B flat, this is the A4, B flat, B, C, 5, C sharp 5. Now, for the ladies who are the contraltos, that's the very, the singers with the female singer who can get all the way down, easily down into the low D, down here, the low C. I've even, I have a contralto student who easily gets the B below middle C. The contraltos bridge the same place the tenors and baritones do. E, F, F sharp. So that is the location of the first bridge. And let me put you back up here on my camera, or on my top of my computer. All right. Now, any questions about that? This area of our voice, we feel it. When I was younger, I couldn't sing beyond the, I could barely sing the E, and anything past that I couldn't do. And it was very difficult to get the E. Oftentimes I found myself flat and kind of yelly. And it was the top, as far as I was concerned, it was the top of my voice. There was nothing beyond that other than falsetto. So I might sing, ah, go in the falsetto, and I could go up. But I did musical theater, and you can't sing a leading male part and do that. You can't break in the falsetto, and you can't yell it. I couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't allow myself to yell it because it was always under pitch and sounded sounded like I was yelling. So I didn't understand the passaggio. I didn't understand that it wasn't the top of my voice. I was reaching a transition, and I didn't know it was even possible to go beyond that. So all of my lessons that I had lessons from a teacher. All of our lessons were in chest, my lower voice. Now, so let's take okay. So Valerie, hi Valerio. He says no. In Italy, passaggio is used for many things, from alive to dead. When you go from one room to the other. Okay, cool. And also when you do auto stop, you get one passaggio, but also for voice change modality. Okay, so I like the idea of traveling from one room to another, because that's what we're doing. We're traveling from the room of chest into another room, head voice. And so that passage, the passaggio, the passage from one room to the other, is a great analogy for our voices. We've got a room down here, low, and you can feel it vibrate down here. I can feel it when I'm speaking. And then there's a room that vibrates up here, whee, that I don't feel as well. I don't feel it as much vibration as I do in my chest, but I know it's vibrating up here. There's certain words that I say that tickle my ears. I can feel it up there. So the passaggio connects one room to the other. I love that. Thank you very much, Valerio. Thank you. All right, B, number 2. Here are 2 exercises that will help you in that area of the passaggio. The first one is called the bubble lip. It sounds like this. You're saying, the voice at rest. You know, when you're just talking along and you pause for a minute and say, that's what you're saying. And then you take your jaw, take your fingers down here by your jaw, put them here and lift up. And then you say, with this bubble. And you want to do it firm enough to get the vocal cords to come together like you were speaking. Okay? So you don't want to do it like no voice or very little voice or too tight. We want it nice and relaxed, fingers like below your mouth and lifting up on your cheeks, okay? To take the weight of your cheeks off your lips so they can bubble very slowly and relaxed. So for the guys, if you just said, I'm going to do it with one hand, but I recommend 2. I'm going to play the piano here. That top note was E, the beginning, the first note in the passaggio. And you're welcome to join me, guys, to do this. Or any of the ladies who know their contraltos. That took you to the F. Now, why this is so good, let me revert back to the first comment or first question today, which James had, is how do I sing? I want to know how to use chest voice. I was wanting to know how to use chest voice all the way up to head voice without going in the falsetto. So this exercise here doesn't pull the chest voice up. It helps you get into the passaggio and then transition into head voice. Can you hear it and feel it go up above the roof of the mouth, up above the hard palate? Listen. That's all the way to the G. Now, you'll notice that I didn't say I didn't break in under there. It's not coming apart. I didn't allow the tone to break, so the tone's remaining connected to the from the very beginning. Do it one more time, guys. Now I'm starting on the C sharp. I'm going through the Passaggio, E, F, F sharp, into head voice, G and A flat, with a connected tone. So I'm going, James, from my chest voice through to the top of chest. Then I'm starting to transition through the Passaggio up into my head voice and back down again with a connected tone. And that's the beginning of this, of being able to sing all the way through from chest to head voice, through the Passaggio, without having any interruption in the tone. It's an amazing thing. I had no idea that that was ever possible until I was 43 years old. And then I attended a workshop with Seth Riggs, and he had us do this exercise here. You may want to try that. That's a 1.5 scale. It starts you in chest. You go through the Passaggio, or the bridge, into your head voice, and then back down. Both of these exercises are great for all of the men, as well as for the contralto female singer. Now, ladies, come here to, we'll do the same thing, same exercises for you. Prop your lips up. Another fast way of doing it is make a frown. Put your fingers in the frown. Can you feel that, ladies, how that transitioned up into above the roof of your above the hard palate and started to vibrate up more into your head? Now you're not completely in head voice like us guys are at the top of our as we get through our first bridge. You're still in a middle zone there, so you may have a little bit of the presence of a little more presence of the bottom than the guys do. Because we're at the very top of our chest. We've got a lot more down below that. And so we're at the top. You're kind of at the bottom of, so you've got another octave or two above this for your head voice. Most of our voice, the guy's voices, most of ours is below it. For your first bridge, most of your voice is still above the first bridge and not below it like us. So if we can, that's another topic for another day. Now, so ladies, do this exercise here with that bubble. It takes you from your chest through the Passaggio into your upper. It's certainly towards the head voice and back down again, all connected. Why is this such an effective exercise? Is that you're getting the vocal cords to come together firmly, and appropriately. You're getting a transition from the low vibrations in chest that vibrates up into your head and back down again. So you've got this shift in vibration from chest up into head, and the larynx is staying resting, is staying down. The larynx stays down on this exercise, as done if you do it as I've illustrated here. This is extremely powerful exercise because The other thing we're doing is we're retraining your nervous system to allow these things to happen, to allow the vocal cords to adjust appropriately so they can go through the passaggio from chest, through the passaggio into head, and then back down again without disrupting the tone, without the tone breaking, cracking, without the muscles straining and pinching and so forth. So this is as simple as this looks. It is it's one of the foundation exercises to being able to help you sing in and through the passaggio and from your low to your high voice, from your chest to your head voice. A very, very powerful and simple approach to doing this. All right, number 3. What's an example then of doing these exercises and actually singing a song? Because we don't have any songs with this lyrics, right? With these lyrics. Well, I suppose we could carry a tune with that. So we could always do that, but most of us want to hear the words. All right, so what does it sound like then to apply the exercises in a song and then be able to do the song in the passaggio? So far we've talked about where the passaggio is. If you missed it, if you've just joined us, you can go back a few minutes, and I show you right on the piano, the keyboard, where your passaggio is for tenors, baritones, basses, soprano, mezzo, sopranos, altos, and contraltos. So I show you where that first passaggio is, the first bridge of the voice. Then I've done, we only did one exercise. Let's do the second exercise. I'm glad I'm reviewing this. Now, if I said, now this is take that sound and do the same thing with mum 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 mum. Now notice I'm not saying mum 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 mum. I'm not changing the vowel. The vowel is staying on mum mum mum. Mum mum. Just say it. Mum mum mum. Mum, and then keep saying it. Mum 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 mum. Mum 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 mum. That's another awesome exercise. It's the same as now be careful that you don't open the vowel and splat it. You want to keep that vowel on mum 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 mum. Don't let it go to mum 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 mum. You can hear the vowel changing, and that's what gets you in trouble. If you open the vowel like that, the vowel will splat, and the larynx is pulled up, and the bottom voice is pulled up. The chest voice is pulled high into what should be just head voice. Keep it on mum 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 mum. Going right through that passaggio, from chest through the passaggio, mum 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 passaggio, mum mum head voice, mum 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 mum. Back down through the passaggio and down into chest. Ladies, for you, it would be up here. Mum 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 mum. Mum 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 mum. Mum 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 mum. Mum 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 mum. Mum 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 mum. That's a C sharp. Someone wanted to see me do a high C or C sharp 5 or a C5. Mum, Same thing I told the guys, ladies, applies. The larynx is staying down if we stay on that but if it starts to go to ma, then the larynx will start to come up and the chest voice will be pulled up too high. And you start feeling it strain. It might crack or break, or it might go into and break into falsetto, and it might start straining and squeezing. So you want to keep that vowel on and that's going to take you right through the passaggio. Now, let's look at a song. This is number 3. All right. All right, so if I said, let's just do it from here. If I said, no, no, ba, mum, 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 mum. So take the mum, mum, mum and do it on the tune Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. Mum, 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 mum. The same principle applies here. Don't let the vowel change to ma'am or something like that, because that's going to end up pulling the chest voice higher, and it's going to pull the larynx up, and you're going to strain, crack, or break in the falsetto, and that would not be mix. That would not be getting through the passaggio in the condition you want to get it in. You can always yell through the passaggio, but it's not. Then you're not really in the passaggio. You're in just pulled up chest. If you're in the passaggio, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the passaggio like we're demonstrating here, you're going to have a natural occurrence of chest and head voice together. So when you're in the passaggio, you're arm in arm with chest and head voice. So you've got a mix voice, or a blend of the two things. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. All right, so the high note was A there. It's the same thing. It's in my head voice, and that's actually the beginning of the second bridge. But it didn't change. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. And I've learned that to get a little more power on it, I have to let up on it, actually. So I have to relax that. Now, ladies, so if I had at the top of my bridge, nobody, so mum, 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 mum. Now you could also any of you could also do it this way. You can do the whole song with the bubble lip, which keeps the larynx down, allows you to get the vocal cords together in the passaggio, and allows the mix of the chest and the head voice all throughout the song. Now, what if we just said, no, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Now, that's how you would do it. You could do it also on no, 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 no. So, ladies, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. That's the high C. And nobody knows my sorrow. No, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. So that's the high E flat. It's almost the beginning of my, for me, my fourth bridge. So now, because I actually bridge where the basso's bridge, down here. All right. So now you've seen examples of a Passaggio example. So we've sung the song. We've sung the song in the Passaggio. We used the exercises in there first, and then we did in the song. And what you're trying to do is duplicate the same feeling of the exercises with the words. No, no, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. So we want to have the same feeling as the exercises. Mum, 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 or so this is how you begin to use the Passaggio to your benefit, where you do the exercises. These exercises keep the larynx down, allow the vibration to shift from chest into head, and because the larynx is staying down, you're not breaking into falsetto, and you're not straining or squeezing and so forth. And the same condition continues on up into your head voice, so you don't have to change anything. Once you get the first bridge down, you just keep doing the same thing as you go higher. Now, so the question is then, what do you tend to do when you go through the bridge? Do you tend to pull the chest voice up? Do you tend to flip into falsetto? Do you tend to go really, really breathy and light so you can get through it? Or do you mix through there? So if you don't know what you tend to do, I prepared a PDF, and so that's called your vocal type. Your vocal type is what you tend to do when you sing through the Passaggio. So you can get your vocal type in right up here. Let me see. There's a little card right up in this area here with a little I, a little letter I. When you click on that, there's two things. There'll be another video to watch, but the thing that you want to do is download the free PDF, Get My Vocal Type. It's got links that takes you to a vocal test. It takes you to videos about your vocal type, and then it gives you exercises for your vocal type. And that's what you want to. Then the exercises do the same thing that we just did here. The exercises are to help you to keep the larynx down. It's to help you to not pull the chest voice. The exercises counteract the bad things so that you can start doing the correct things, so that you can transition through the Passaggio from chest into head voice and back down again, and then begin to apply those to songs. So there are exercises specifically for your unique vocal type. Maybe you flip on the falsetto. Maybe you don't pull up. Maybe you're just singing, ah. Some people do that because they don't want to deal with the Passaggio. So they just break. Or the whole thing is breathy and light. Ah. Take the vocal test and then email it in, and you'll get back an algorithm that you can click. You can just go through and select what your vocal type is, or send it to me, and I'll listen to it and send it back to you. All right. So now that completes my information prepared for you today. Get your vocal type in that PDF, and then take the vocal test, and that will help you discover what your vocal type is. Then there are exercises that are going to help you to get through the Passaggio and get from chest into head voice. All right, now I'm going to take these questions, and that'll probably take us to the end of our session today. All right, so back to Thiago. Thiago, 6 months doing vocal lessons, and I can't sing the G4. The reason, Thiago, is that your larynx is still coming up. That's the reason. As soon as you're able to do it without the larynx coming up, you will get the G4. So that's all it means. And it's harder when you're in your teens. You're getting to the edge of that, and pretty soon it's going to... But there are plenty of teen boys who are able to do this. So keep working at it. It's the larynx coming up that's causing you not to be able to get that G4. G4 is not very high for you in reality. Okay, so take an ENT. I don't know. I can do a C5. I don't know if that's Chesty mix. It's probably not as chesty as some people would like, but it's my head voice, and I'm not pulling, and I'm not breaking, and it's not a mix. I'm not pulling up a mix. And if I wanted to pull up a mix, I might say something like nay, 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 nay. So I might do that. With that witchy, ratty sound. The larynx is slightly up, but that would be probably closer to pulling up a mix, and there's probably more of the chesty element there. So that's one way of doing it. So no one actually shows how it sounds. I see. Singing it, I mean. Yeah, so if I said, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory. E flat. My impromptu, whatever that is. Okay, singers like Bruno Mars, Michael Jackson, and Sting, do they sing around the second Passaggio? Yes. Don't they sing in a chesty mix? You know, I don't want to necessarily use the term chesty mix, because that implies that the only way to have a powerful head voice is to have chest and to pull mix up. I don't think that's the case. I think there's ways to be in head voice and have it become very powerful. So if I'm in, let's just say this is the A, and I said, ma, 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 ma. I don't know how you would term that, but I'm pressing into, I'm leaning into my head voice a little bit there, and it gets bigger and stronger. And so I think there are ways to get to a powerful, very powerful sound by not involving chest voice at all, other than having it connected in tone to the bottom, of course, but of not with this idea of bringing chest and chesty mix higher and higher and higher. I don't think that's the way. I don't think that's the way to it. I think the way to it is let go, and don't squeeze at all, and then the vocal cords really get powerful. And I don't think that I necessarily did that great today, but that's the idea. And also remember, taking ENT. Bruno Mars was is a high tenor. Michael Jackson had a range that, you know, I mean, I think I think there's some place on the line that shows him hitting like a low F, maybe a low E. So, you know, he was, you know, he probably had at least 4-octave range. So I don't have their gift, and you probably don't either. And so it doesn't really matter what I do. I'm never going to sound like they do. I might be able to hit the same notes, but I'm not going to sound like them because I don't have their gift. I accept that. Okay. Valerio says, okay, talked about the Passaggio. We talked about that. Tailwind, hi. He says, hi, Chuck. Thank you so much for your videos. I will be contacting you again for more lessons. Oh, cool. Awesome. Good. I look forward to it. I will try the bratty nay sound as instructed, but it gets tight through the bridge and above. All right, so here's the thing, you guys. Any of us who are doing this nay, 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 I don't have to do it that loud. Nay, 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 nay. That's the high C5. That's the C5. I'm not doing it hard. And I don't have to do it loud. Nay, 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 nay. But it's connected tone. So you don't have to do, but it does help to stay on the witchy side. Nay, 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 nay. So you don't have, in fact, I recommend you not do it loud at first. And that's going to take some of the, it's going to reduce the heaviness of chest, and it's going to increase the depth of the upper of your in your head voice. You're going to get deeper into the head voice. So do it softer. There's nothing, in fact, there's so much to gain by doing it softer. And it doesn't get tight through the bridge. There's a couple bridges there that I went through, and it's just stay witchy with it. It didn't pull. Nay, 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 nay. I didn't do that. It's just a, don't go so hard, and you can start building that area of your voice. Farzan says, Chuck, please tell me how I can find my chest dominant mix. Chest dominant mix. I have a head dominant mix. I think I can. But how can I find chest dominant mix? I think that all begins with eliminating all the tension. So if I'm bringing chest up higher and higher because I want to have chest dominant mix, I've made a mistake. You get to it by eliminating tension. You get to it by allowing the chest voice to leave your voice. If I said mum, 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 but if I kept saying mum, 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 because I want more chest in it, I'm already setting myself up for failure. You don't build your voice by pulling chest voice. You build your voice by allowing in the passaggio the larynx to stay down. Mum, 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 and relaxing. Don't push it. Mum, 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 mum. There's a G. Mum, 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 A flat. Mum, 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 mum. It's getting easier as I go up because I'm letting go of chest. Mum, 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 mum. That's the A. That's the high A, and I don't know what you want to call that, but that's a fairly strong head voice without pulling chest, I got to it by letting go of it. We want to allow the chest to drop off as you go higher so that the vocal cords can do it without squeezing it. That the vocal cords have plenty of power in them. We don't have to pull anything up from the bottom. We don't need chesty mix. We need heady mix. We need to relax it. Let go of the bottom. Mum, 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 let up, mum, 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 So we let go. We don't keep pulling it up the bottom. ENT says, if I change my question, maybe it was too long. Can the voice be trained so that you can hit Chesty mix for the B4, C5, D5, or is it only something you're born with? No, you can. I think you can develop a very strong head voice that sounds like almost sounds like you're in chest, but you're not. You're in head voice, and you get to it by not trying to pull the chest voice so high. You get to it the opposite. It's counterintuitive. You let go of chest. You let go of chest at the F sharp 5. Don't keep bringing it up higher and higher and higher. Don't try and pull a mixed voice up. Get rid of all the tension. Let the vocal cords begin to learn to do what they do without any tension, without any pull, without the larynx coming up. Even my example of high larynx, I probably would use that, in more. It depends on the genre you're using, and it depends on the genre you're singing in. But you really don't. You really want to get rid of the tension and of pulling the chest voice higher, and you got to keep the larynx down. CSI, hello, Chuck and everyone. Nice to have you here, CSI. Ian, taking the ENT says, or does it have to be a hootie head voice? I think you can get to it by. It doesn't have. That's not your finished product, is it? But it's what leads to your finished product. So I didn't have any tension in the upper one, and I did it on a hootie goo goo. But it's possible by not having that tension up there. To get much deeper and much stronger from that feeling of the hootie sound. So give yourself some time to find that coordination. It's not immediate. It wasn't for me, at least. It took some years, actually. Tywin says, I've been doing bubble lips exercise for 2 years every day. It breaks every time the moment I actually try and sing something. Okay, maybe today's examples have been of benefit to you. Armin Tanisha. So when we try and sing something, Tailwind, usually it's because we're using a vowel that opens up too wide. It starts to splat. So if the vowel is in the bridge, if the word is in the bridge, it's one of your high notes and it's in the bridge, and the vowel tends to want to spread open, then what will happen is, and I'm sure none of you have ever experienced this before, but what happens is it'll crack. I'm being facetious. But that's the reason why, is because we've got all these different vowels now and pitches that we have to be aware of. So we've got to, you've got, this is a whole nother topic. You got to learn where all the bridges are, where the words, offending words are, and you probably are going to have to narrow that vowel slightly so that you can stay in your mix. Because if you don't stay in the mix, which is the feeling you get in the Passaggio, the blend of chest and head, if you fall out of it and the vowel splats wide, then it's going to crack, or it's going to pull the chest voice up. The larynx is definitely going to come up, and it's going to be strained, and you're going to have that moment where it's going to crack. The bubble lip holds everything in. So it's definitely a way to get the nervous system to begin to learn something new. All right, we're down to like the last couple minutes here. How to identify your vocal as damaged while singing? You have to go see the ENT. You need to go see if you feel like you've damaged it, you may have. So go see the ENT doctor, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, preferably one who has worked with singers before, and have them scope your vocal cords. They'll put a little tube down to take a look at it. They deaden everything. You don't feel a thing. And they can tell you if you've got some damage. Maybe a nodule, or maybe a hemorrhage, maybe a little blood vessel is broken. Go get it checked. And that's the best, fastest, easiest way to get your mind relieved. Even if you know that you have damage, at least now you know, and you can begin rehabilitating that. That C5 was nice. Thanks, Tommy. I've been watching your videos for a while, but this is the first time I've heard you really sing like this. Well, thanks. And you know, I don't think I'm at great voice right now, but just to give an example of what I think is possible. And remember, you guys, I'm a bass. I sing down here. I mean, so I am bass, and I'm singing the high E5 or the C5, right? Or even the E flat 5. So that's what being able to work in the Passaggio has done for me. Until I was 43 years old, I couldn't go above the E, above middle C. I mean, I could hit the E, but I couldn't do an F. The E was hard. So it's all because of getting this Passaggio down. Tommy says, how long did it take for you to find a feeling for mixed voice coordination? Tommy, I think I got it right off the bat. I just didn't understand it, and I didn't have control over it. So I think it took me years to really start to get a feel. I think for me, it took about 11 to 12 years to really say, okay, I'm gonna hit a mixed note for you, mum, 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 and have it consistent, mum, 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 and right in the Passaggio, mum, 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 mum. I couldn't do that for a long time, and I didn't know it was mixed. I didn't know how I could stay in it. So, but we're talking about but I started singing within the first 8 months of of the discovery of all this. So I started singing, and I started theater again. I've done 41 shows now. So I didn't wait till I had a moment of perfection, to, you know, or even just get better. As soon as I started to realize, you know, as soon as I gave me immediate confidence. I got an F and an F sharp, but I was still pulling a little bit. But at least my range was expanding. So don't wait for perfection. Get into it and get singing, and then in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you'll be faster than me. I'm slow on that kind of thing. How does it sound in the beginning when you first find the coordination? So Tommy, I think it sounds a little weak. A little bit lighter. It's there. It's just hard to, you don't quite know how to lean into it at first. So it's lighter than than I wanted to do. But it got stronger over time, and you begin to learn that coordination, and you learn it by letting go. That's another day, another story. So if you have to let go of chest voice to go higher up in your mix, does that mean it's impossible to sing the C5 that sounds chesty instead of heady? I don't know. What do you think? What did it sound? Did I have any element of chesty sound to you today? George, hey George, sorry I was late packing for a move to a new location. All right, George. So moving out of paradise then, is that what you mean? Glad to see you. Nice for you. Thanks for joining today. Lucas. Hey, Lucas. Good to see you. Philip, when I come back down from head voice, I sometimes have trouble transitioning to a solid chest voice again. Philip, that's because the larynx has gone up. If the larynx is up, when we get down into our chest, it's hard to get it established again. And a lot of times you really notice it on your lowest notes. They're not there. You can't hit them. So I've got scratch going today, but I'm still able to kind of get that low E. So my larynx isn't too high here. But I've been in situations where I couldn't get down there. Usually I was over singing, like I'm maybe in a show, and I was in the ensemble, and I'm singing loud because people around me are singing loud, and I want to hear my voice. And then later on in the ensemble, I've got a low note. Maybe I'm going to hit the low F or the low F sharp, and it's not there. I can't quite get it. It's because my larynx is up. If everything is down, and I haven't been, so my problem was I was over singing, and my larynx started going up. So that larynx is really, really effective in helping us if we do everything right. Levinsky, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us today. Tommy, oh wow, I never would have guessed you were a bass. Yep, I'm bass. Did it take so long because you didn't have a teacher? No, I had teachers. I'm just slow, Tommy. But you know, I've talked about this before. Pavarotti was interviewed in the UK many years ago, and he illustrated. He said, you know, to be a really great tenor, you have to learn how to cover. He called it cover. I think he was showing how you mix and how you work in the Passaggio. Guess what he did? He played the F right smack dab in the Passaggio, and he showed how he could do this big, strong, powerful, but he did it kind of open and a little bit pulled, I think. And then he said, now if you really, he said, that's okay, but it's not elegant. And then he demonstrated this. He had this tremendously, you know, amazing sound. He said, now that might sound easy. Take maybe 10 years. Pavarotti, 10 years. So I don't feel bad about 12 for me. And I didn't end up with a note like Pavarotti. But look, it takes some time to get it down and to get it good. It takes a long way. Okay. Effortless. Okay, that's a good comment. Valeria says, Tommy, I took 1 year and a half to start fill mix in my case. 1 year is not too long. It's not too bad. So George, you guys who don't know, George Beeman lived in Paradise, California, which is where the whole town was destroyed. And he made it out alive, and he's moving to Chico, which is a beautiful place, George. Enjoy yourself up there. Tommy, all right, saying thanks to Valerio. Farzan, when I do the exercise, I flip into a heady mix. So if you flip, it's probably not a mix. If you're really flipping into it, it's probably a falsetto. How can I not flip to it and transform smoothly? Don't do it as loud. Cut your volume in half by half. So cut your volume in two. So if you estimate your volume, Farzan, say you're at a 6 in loudness. Cut it to a 3. And record yourself. And do it easier. Do it softer. Philip says, you're right. My lowest notes disappear. Yeah, it's, you know, I've been there, guys. Everything that you're experiencing, I've experienced. It's a journey. It's a wonderful journey. It's a happy journey. So Betavu says, Chuck, what can I do to hit the first octave without fry? It's probably out of your range. You're probably, it's just, you know, I can't hit the C2. Maybe Saturday morning when I first wake up. I can do it in a fry. That's just growling, I think. It means nothing to me. I might be able to growl in the choir and somebody can feel it or something, but don't worry about it if you don't have the lowest note. We all are eventually limited by genetics. Now, if we get the larynx down and so forth, and as you age, you're going to get the voice is going to drop a little bit. But yeah, so don't worry if you can't hit it. You don't have the same kind of voice as I do, and that's okay. I would like to sing. I was disappointed when I first began to realize I was a true bass, because I always wanted to sing higher, and I can sing higher. But just because I can doesn't mean I should. You understand that, right? Just because you can do a high note or even do a real low note doesn't mean you should. Where you want to really sing is where your voice flourishes. Tommy, I see. Thank you, Doug. Keep up your content. Thank you very much, Tommy. Very nice to have you here today. Yeah, so Betahu, he is a survivor, Paradise, California. I might be able to growl and somebody can feel it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Sopranos, you know, in the choir. They can feel the floor vibrate or something. Anyway, thanks, everybody. It's after we've exceeded the hour. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. This has been a heck of a session today. I'll probably refer to this quite a bit. There's lots of great content packed into today. Thanks for your terrific comments, and thanks for joining us today. It's been fun to talk, and fun to be with you. Levinsky, How to Fix My Height, cracking notes. Watch this whole session today, and it'll help you. Thanks, everybody. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing, and this is Power to Sing Live number 144. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Take care.